All right. It is 6:30. Good morning and welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. Today is the 5th of September. Hard to believe we're already through Labor Day. We are currently at 9 days without a recordable injury, 9 days from the last first aid injury, and 14 days without a vehicle incident. We had a great week this week, so let's keep that up. Just a reminder, all that audit stuff is still ongoing, so just be mindful of your vehicles from now and going forward forever, that you're checking all your lights and doing a good pre-trip on everything. Today we're going to talk about controlling potential energy. So I pulled the internet definition of potential energy, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. So the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position relative to others, stresses within itself, electric charge, and other factors. So if that car that's in the picture right there, or you imagine that it's a rock or whatever it is, it's up the top of the hill and it can roll down and it has potential energy. If it's sitting on level ground and it's all the way down, then it doesn't have any potential energy from the elevation. Same thing, if you take a spring and you squeeze on it or pull on it, depending on what kind of spring it is, then you're going to have potential energy. Once it returns to its resting position, the potential energy is gone, and then electricity as well. And we're going to have a presentation coming up here in a month or so. Presentation going on in a month or so about electricity. But today we're going to talk about potential energy and lockout tagout. So what we're going to do is we're going to establish requirements for our lockout tagout stuff, and what types of hazards we need to control. There's going to be electricity, de-energizing machines or equipment, mostly machines, and all potential energy scenarios. So our lockout tagout procedures are fairly simple. There are some specific ones that are slightly different. Like I was down in Rutland a couple weeks ago, and Ron was showing me how they do it for all the signal stuff, and they have a lock that goes on the cabinet that only the only key goes to them, and then it has to be released by dispatch for somebody else to turn on and energize that system, right? But generally, what we're going to do is for equipment, and that's going to be just to put a caution out of service flag on there. Every crew should have them at this point. We gave them out probably 2 years ago. And if you have a piece of equipment that either can't be operated safely or shouldn't be operated in order to prevent damage to it, you should take that orange flag, put it on the door, or put it on the seat. Oh, we got somebody.
Go away. Fucking stressed.
Mute participant. There we go. And we want to take those flags, put them on, so that way it's clear that the piece of equipment is tagged out. More often than not, it's going to be preventing damage to the equipment, but it could also prevent an injury or something like that. We did have an injury a few years ago where there was a piece of equipment. It actually had a lockout button on it. It wasn't pressed. Somebody put their finger in it to unjam a system issue, and they ended up breaking their finger, and it was a recordable injury. But the most easy way to do it is shut down the piece of equipment and then put a flag on it. Anytime that you have any energy isolating devices possible, which is more likely in the electrical and the industrial world and stuff like that, you want to take it, put it in the off position. If we're using lockout locks, we'd put our own locks on it and close it out. That's going to be under specialty circumstances. It'll come up, and then we'll make sure to give that equipment to people. And then the big thing with us controlling the potential energy situations is planning. And all of our planning generally goes back when it comes to safety on a day-to-day basis is going to go to our JHAs, right? So it might be something that goes into our job site safety plan in advance of the job, but then we're also going to talk about it on our daily JHAs. So anytime that we're suspending a load or anything like that, we want to make sure that our rigging's good before we do it, that we have the proper rigging and all of that stuff. And then we're going to look at our JHAs and make sure that the crew is briefed on everything. You could also have additional controls that you put in place. So you have do not place yourself under or between a load, never suspend a load without a spotter, lockout, and restrain any equipment and loads with potential energy, secure and inspect any high pressure hoses, never climb on or ride on a suspended load, place or secure tools where they will not fall from above, lower aerial lifts and all terrain forks when not in use, stay clear of rotating drill string, And it's not on there, but as a reminder to always ground your buckets and blades. And that is a quick down and dirty lockout tagout. Like I said, most of what we're going to be doing is just taking those orange flags and putting them on the door or seat of a piece of equipment.
Thanks, Tom. Any other comments on that topic? One of the important things. Go ahead.
No, all good. Good job, Tom.
Yeah. Well, follow your gut. Don't take it chances. Usually with potential energy, we have experience when something doesn't look like, or it looks like it could fall or it could release. There's a good chance it could happen. So don't take undue risk, and include considerations of stored energy in your pre-planning of the day.
Yeah, but I didn't mention it on there, but one thing that we do see from time to time is people will store a pipe or whatever else way up on top of their excavation, and it'll be kind of on a slope towards where they're working. And it's like, all right, if that just gets moving a little bit, it's going to come into that excavation very quickly. So just be mindful of your storage of anything that can move.
Yeah, we had a dozer almost hit us one time in the winter. One of the guys parked it on top of the on a hill above our job site. And ever see a dozer cut loose on frozen ground? It's kind of scary. It's like it's like being on ice skates. Okay. Can you guys see the email?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it wasn't showing that it was here. Okay. So the code of conduct item this week: maintain respectful behavior when you're working, driving a company vehicle, wearing our logo. Remember that we're representing the company, and we're also representing ourselves as all being part owners of this establishment here. And I always say, remember to show regard for others, try to be positive, and practice courtesy and alignment in your communication and in your actions. For Monday, we had a holiday, so in case you haven't already done so, please get your time entered in for Monday for holiday time. Job 14, OH 14, earn code holiday, and that will be 8 hours of paid holiday time. Make sure that's in there before Monday. We have the ECI Railroad Golf Tournament on October 4th. It's an annual event. Tom Pigeon is organizing it. We've got Tom's email right here. And Tom, do you have anything to say about this? It's going to be 8 a.m. up in St. Albans, right? At the Champlain Country Club. You got any takers yet?
It's either, I can't ever remember if it's St. Albans or Swanton, but it's the golf course if you get off by Handy there and then you head north.
Head north. You got any people signed up yet officially? Okay. This week we have the I got an ownership topic of the week. This topic, we've been talking about this. Probably more of what we've heard before is more of tutorials of how to do it. I know that Andrew Piper sent word to me that he wanted to see if we could get this topic on this week. He's one of the field people that were tasked with trying to promote this on the field side of things, and asking you to support the use of this Fleetio app. We pay money for this, and it's a helpful tool for us. I'll go through my little spiel that I had a little help creating this yesterday. I had Mr. McKinney help me tweak it. Fleetio is it's a tool that helps us efficiently organize, track, and maintain and repair our large fleet of trucks and our equipment. As employee owners, we all have a direct financial stake in the company's success, which creates a powerful incentive to support this program. It does require full participation in order to be effective. It provides us detailed specification information on our equipment. I actually use it a lot for to look up equipment. You go in the Fleetio app, you can look at all the specifications and a lot of information on all the different equipment that we have, the trucks, the excavators, the tools. It's a great resource that way. It's utilized especially every day by the drivers who do their pre-trips on there. We can report and repair maintenance items to the shop. I saw a dump truck one day that had a headlight out. I came back and tried the app, and within a couple hours, I walked through the shop and they said, "Oh yeah, we got your issue there with that truck. We changed the headlight." So it gives real-time information to the shop for especially repairs that need to be done. It records in the history for the maintenance for the vehicles and equipment. It tracks our off-road fuel, which is a big one. Tracking our off-road fuel. As owners, we don't want our fuel going anywhere where we don't know where it is. We want to eliminate it disappearing and going into the wrong place, because it costs us money to buy. It's one of the more expensive items that we write big checks for every month, especially when we're busy. When we log the fuel, it's not only providing accountability and loss control for that high value item of the fuel, but it also feeds our hour meter readings, which gives us automated schedule maintenance alerts. So when we're utilizing Fleetio and we're putting in the hours and the miles, the system has predetermined intervals for changing filters, changing the oil. There's other things that the guys feed in there in the shop, for different maintenance things on, especially the bigger machines that have a lot of different things that they need to address every so many hours or so many miles. And it really sucks to get something in here that's got 1,000 hours on it since the last time it was maintained. So these reminders help the shop and the guys to understand what the needs are out there. It also provides us DOT compliance. We're in a DOT audit. We're in that audit this week. And one of the things that they look at is they look at how we maintain our equipment. They not only look at the equipment, but they look at our maintenance records. And it's a requirement that we have maintenance records and that we show how we react to doing a good job at maintaining our fleet, especially the things that are over 10,000 pounds, and the commercial vehicles, which are regulated federally on the roads. We have a DOT number that we want to keep, and as long as we maintain in compliance, we're good. But if there's issues with it, it's like anything else federal. The binoculars come out, and then they get a microscope and they start looking at everything. So I think our audit is going well so far. We're learning a lot, and today they're going to be here, I think, in the shop. But if you're not using the Fleetio app, please use it. It's important for us. You might have already heard from people like Andrew and other people in the field that are promoting it, and they're promoting it because it's what we need to do to be responsible owners and to take care of our stuff. Anything to be added on this from anyone? I'd like to give you guys the chance. So use the app. I left a little piece of good news in here from a couple weeks back. If you haven't already noticed, check out your 401k and you'll see that there was another distribution this year that was put in several weeks ago for the profit sharing for 2024. It was approximately a 3% distribution based on 3% of what you your gross income was before bonus in 2024. So I'll take that off next week, but please check. Anyone I've already talked to said that they did receive it. So welcome, Isaiah LaFountain. He started this week on the paving crew. And we now have a returnee, Marty Kedmanek. Marty came back, and I've already seen him several times. He was out here working with the guys on the precast. And he started earlier this week. So welcome back, Marty. Family Fun Day. It had originally been scheduled for the 4th. It's now scheduled for the 11th. And today is the final day to register for the event. Right here, I've got this link right on the email. You can either click this link and it'll bring you to this page, if I can get it. It's just got several little things here that you can fill out. Or you can call Elena. If you don't get her right off, leave a message. She'll call you back. She's focused on making sure that we have a good showing here. But today is that final day. I give you here the nice little handout that explains some of the details, who, what, when, where, and why. It is for ECI employees, their significant others, their children and grandchildren, and we want to have everyone pre-register. So please reach out to Elena if you want to come. It's going to be a good time. Let's see. To this week, we have the Center Road Force Main replacement. And it was put together by Tom Lawyer, and Tom's going to present. You there, Tom?
Yep, I'm here. I'll let you do the driving, Ben. I'll just
I'll
take it from here if you're ready. So
okay. Very good.
A lot of you guys know about this project, and it was a nice little project for ECI. We were contracted by Cortland Construction to perform the trenchless installation work for the Town of Essex Center Road Force Main replacement and pump station upgrade contract number 1. Our scope of work included installing a 24-inch by 60-foot casing. We used the jack and bore method there, and also installed a little under 2,000 feet of 10-inch diameter HDPE force main by directional drill method. The work was performed at the beginning of this season along a very busy and high traffic volume section of Route 15 in Essex Center, right across from their shopping center, basically. In addition, there's some good pictures that depict that here coming up shortly. In addition to the high traffic, ECI also faced the challenges of a very tight work zone. We literally were on the edge of Route 15 while working in the greenbelt zone of the highway. The 10-inch line ran parallel to the highway on the east side of Route 15, and we installed it as 2 separate bores. We talked about doing it as 1 long bore for a number of reasons. We separated into 2 separate bores, primarily the pipe laydown restrictions. We had a lot of driveways, both commercial and residential, that were blocked when we laid the pipe out for the pullback phase. So this required a schedule of a lot of consideration for the homeowners to let them get off to work before we began this process. And for the commercial driveways, in some locations, excavators and loaders were used, and we literally picked the pipe up into the air to allow vehicles to pass underneath while the pullback took place. So It went in fairly quick, so it wasn't a major inconvenience to the public, but a lot of planning went into it for sure. The 24-inch casing crossed Route 15 in the vicinity of Saybrook Road. And this allowed the force main to cross within the casing to make the final run across a field on the west side of the highway by open excavation. Cortland Construction performed that excavation, and ultimately the sewer force main went to the pump station location for final tie-in. Cortland Construction supported ECI with traffic control, excavation, and completed all the tie-ins and testing. I do want to do a little shout out to our awesome trucking team here. We have been moving a lot of drills around lately. So Brian, all you guys and girls out there who've been helping us out, we literally seems like we get on a project in South Alberg where we're using a JT, and all of a sudden we encounter rock and say, yeah, that drill you brought us yesterday, now we need a different drill, and they're moving it. constantly moving things around. We've had some breakdowns that have had us switch stuff on short notice. Even on the South Alberg project, just moving from one location to the next, 3 miles down the road, they have been extremely responsive. So thanks to all of you who are helping us there. It makes a huge difference in our production for sure. So, all right, keep scrolling, Ben.
Okay, there's the
Okay,
location.
there you go. Yep. So this will be the top, the location that's from the plan sheet. We don't need to get a lot of the details of that, but this picture here is kind of our setup, if you will. We've got our back truck recovering our slurry and our mud, the excavator handling our drill steel, the drill, and not shown here is our big mud truck, our mixer truck behind all this. So it's quite a little package, and you can see literally the guard on the ditch, which is over the asphalt there. That's how tight we were to the highway. So busy for sure, no doubt about that. The project went really well. The soils were good for this type of work, sandy, silty stuff. So what you're looking at here is our pilot bore on the directional drill. So when we drill through, for those of you who don't know, we always start with a pilot bore phase, which we send through a drill steel. And in this case, for downhole tooling, it was a dirt bit. We're pushing slurry through that borehole the whole time. So the cuttings are coming back to our point of entry in this situation. It's like we're about 10 feet, 8 feet deep there, I'm guessing. And yep, Reggie, the locators, this right on target is an understatement. They were spot on this, which was great. Our load of pipe. We found Alpine Sprinkler, I think was the name of a sprinkler company right around the corner from us. And we went and knocked on his door and said, hey, you got a big yard? Can we borrow some space? And it went into a lengthy conversation about this guy worked with ECI at IBM in the 80s, early 80s, and he had a great relationship with it. So it was an easy, yep, whatever you need, he helped us out. He was great to work with. So that shows the pipe that the guys unloaded quickly. He also allowed us to fuse all the pipe in his yard. There's Carter. I'm not sure who's standing next to him. Looks like he's either throwing up a roll of tape or catching a roll of tape. Taping on this is a tracer wire, and you'll see some better pictures of that coming up. So typically HDP is not a locatable product, being plastic. So we always try to install tracer wire along these runs when the ground conditions allow. Sometimes they don't. We always attempt, but not always successful. Okay, next picture. This is a nice picture of our connection here. Obviously, on the right-hand side of this is black is the pipe that will be the final product pipe. We've fused on a pulling head here, and in the middle we've got a swivel. These swivels can get huge. We've got some 20-ton, 40-ton swivels. So they take a lot of force, and ultimately on the left side of this picture would be the drill stem that you saw earlier. That was the pilot bore. We've attached a reamer here. In this situation, we pull reamed. So in other words, we piloted through with a little under 6-inch bit, and then we put looks like a 14-inch reamer on this, maybe. I don't know, Carter, if you're out there, or Reggie, but either way, a reamer just over the size of this, and we pull reamed as we went. So these reamers, in addition to cutting the borehole to a larger diameter, fluid is also pumped through them, and it pushes the spoils or the cuttings back to the point of entry. We recover them with a vac or a reclaimer, or depending upon what we're dealing with. Okay, keep going, Ben. It was really tight on the laydown area. See, like this driveway we couldn't cut, so we put this box here. You'll see another picture where we had to actually hold that pipe into position. So this pipe, although flexible, we can't just exactly cut it on a 90-degree turn. So we've got to kind of lay it in and feather it in and get it to kind of a non-restricted position, if you will. This shows the tracer wires here. Aldrich & Elliott was the engineer on this, and we've had lengthy conversations with them throughout the years of tracer wire and demanding that it goes through. And in sometimes in rock conditions, it just doesn't make it. So they've changed their spec to now they require us to install 4 tracer wires. And honestly, you only need 1, but it's a cheap piece of insurance for them. And in this case, all 4 came through, so they're in good shape. Maybe you can see it on that picture, Ben, or is it the next picture? But yeah, okay, let's see. Yeah. All right, yeah, keep going, Ben. Yeah. This is another picture of the pull-in area.
This is where you said you were holding the pipe
Yeah.
down?
Yeah.
With the,
Holding it down with an excavator to, so it didn't pinch on the top of the box and cut. So this is another picture of it. I love this. I love this little bit of ECI ingenuity. If you look at this intense package of tracer wire here, we got a pipe wrench on one end and vice grips on the other end holding it together. So little ECI ingenuity there, making it happen. Okay, keep going. This is they lay down area in the sprinkler yard, construction yard. So we fused all of the pipe there and actually went into the woods quite a way. So basically we had 2,000-foot runs, if you will, thereabouts. So it took a lot of room, but beyond his property, there was kind of a little wooded section we were able to sneak through. And there was a residence other than the vicious dog that was there. We were able to they had a garden we had to protect with an excavator really, so we didn't take out fencing when we swung that pipe around back to that potential energy that Tom was talking about earlier. So it really made the job happen. Without this area, I don't know what we would have done. So. Okay, next picture. This is this is that house I was talking about with the dog. That's that little garden. But anyway, this is the guys pulling it from the yard into position onto Route 15. That blue pit's the pull head that we just saw. It was all beat up after coming through. So. Another picture of this is actually pulled through. Actually, the pipe's now been pulled through. You see, this is the pipe here. Before you were seeing it being prepared to get pulled through, and now it's completed. All right, you say the pipe is in, Ben.
yeah. Thank you, Tom.
And that's it. It was a good project. So thanks to everybody who worked on that for sure. Came out great. So.
Is it kind of a good explanation of something that some of us don't see every day on our jobs, is that whole operation of getting that bore done and how you actually get that pipe to fit in that little hole.
There's a lot of decisions that need to be made in real time, and you sit and bid stuff and look at stuff and plan stuff. But when you really get into what we're into for ground conditions, we need to adjust as we go to make the right decision. We need to know what we're into, to be honest with you. So, and
thank you, Tom.
So, all right, thank you.
Appreciate you putting that together. From the archives. All right, I found we'll find out a little bit more later this year about these Fectos, because I think they're getting close to it. At least one of them I know is getting really close to retirement. So I did some searching and I found a picture from 1999, and all three of these guys are still here. We got Zeb in the machine. Looks like he's actually working, doing something, trying to dig under the rail there. And we got both Charlie and Dale. I don't know if they're talking to each other on the cell phone or they're talking to someone else, but there's a kind of good shot of those guys working together back in 1999. I figured that would be a kind of a cool picture to show. So you guys look a little more experienced nowadays. Although Dale, you still look kind of the same. All right. 6:59. So we got through it on target. I'll turn it back over to Tom and Matt.
If you're watching the group send, please send us over attendance so we can capture that. Let's drive safe. Let's work safe. Let's have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.